I'm really curious in this critical election year, what you feel Democrats are doing right, what they need to improve on, and what the real contours of the fight are right now.
Yeah, it's exactly why I started Gloves Off. I obviously am busy running the network and expanding it, but I felt that it was important for us to have more female voices in the broader left. There's a lot of pod bros, which are great. I'm friends with many of them, but I think that's important. Jennifer Welch is obviously one of them. She's everywhere now. I've had it as a phenomenal podcast. But she has built this following, and others have as well, by being really bold brass and no bullshit, both about the authoritarians and the idiots on the right, as well as the folks that are deeply out of touch on the left with where the electorate is, where the American people are. And so I think that's really important, because this is not a new debate in the quote unquote big tent, Susan, but we're seeing it really ratchet up again, as it tends to do in election cycles, between the quote unquote centrists or moderate flank of the pro-democracy left-leaning movement and the progressive flank. Third Way is out there trying to, smear Hassan Piker, who's built a really powerful and influential following, especially among younger men, a demographic that has been really challenging for Democrats in recent elections. And we've seen this all play out before, and I think that it's easy to get mired in sort of the political or ideological debates, which I think are actually very important, and that those are good debates to be having about policy and ideology and things of that nature. But what's more concerning to me is the tactical sort of understanding here. It's like, if you want to build coalitions and support for specific candidates and ideas and positions, you need to understand how to actually get your message across. And I'm talking about the candidates themselves, the committees, et cetera. If you are deeply out of touch with where folks are, and I actually just had this conversation in a Gloves Off that drops early next week with my friend Charlie Goldenson, who's a creator himself as well. But it just feels like there are so many folks in the Democratic Party that are so out of touch and really do believe in this kind of controlling perspective, where if they're upset that an idea or a creator who's more to the left of them is really influential or powerful, they don't have a strategy on offense to reach people in the similar way. They sort of cut them down. And Jennifer Welch and I talked about this as well. It's like, you need to actually build support and build up creators and voices that understand how to build communities and active audiences on platforms like Twitch and TikTok, et cetera. And just chastising the ones who've done it really well. Haven't done it on your own, it's ludicrous to me. And I think that that's different than the actual ideological or policy debates these people are having. They don't seem to understand how to actually build audience or community or engagement in this media environment. And that's where they will fall short. And you can also translate that to a lot of the committees and the leadership in the party, who are, upset and they are endorsing candidates that are truly out of touch with where a lot of the Democratic base is today. So these are really important arguments and debates, but I also worry they're a huge distraction from the common enemy and threat that we all need to be unified against. And primary season is always silly season in certain ways, but it's an important season too, because it's where the most engaged voters have a really outsized say in the direction of the party. And the party needs a rebrand, and it needs a reset in a really big way. And that's going to be determined by the voters, not the party leaders.
Yeah, and I know we need to let you go within a minute or two, but it seems like we've seen a pattern in some of these midterm elections where Democrats have come together in 2018, surprisingly, even in 2022 when Biden was present, but just given the overreach of Republicans, the backlash to January 6th, I think, and the overturning of the Roe v. Wade decision by the Supreme Court. Surprisingly, in midterms, Democrats have been very good about, working together and even though there are ideological differences, uniting around the fact that the alternative is too much of a risk. But then when we get to the presidential elections, things get very tight. And I feel like some of those divisions within the Democratic Party really start rearing their heads and working against the party, like we saw in 2024, where there was a huge divide over the war in Gaza. And that was probably determinative in some of the swing states. And so how do we have these healthy debates that a party needs to have and that people on the left need to have, while making sure that you do keep your eye on the ball of the biggest enemy we have right now, which is Donald Trump?
I mean, it's such a good question. It's a loaded question. I wish I had the solution for it. I mean, my perspective is such that like, if we want a democracy, you have to be willing to have a democracy, right? Which is the folks, it's do all of the things to inform all of the people, but the people get to decide the direction of the country. That's what a true functional democracy is. And I think there are some folks in the Democratic Party that don't actually believe in practice and democracy. They want command and control over the direction of the party. They want to protect certain status quo systems and interests that do not benefit the majority of American people. And the American people are not dumb. And a lot of the Democratic base is onto this. And so that's why we see things, the most powerful bipartisan issues right now, right, come down to the Epstein files and the war in Iran and things of this nature. And a lot of the fights within the big Democratic tent are actually about protecting some of the interests that the American people do not want to protect, regardless of party. So I think that we're experiencing a really, really, really important and long overdue inflection point. And I do believe that so many of these systems that have been upheld by Democrats and Democratic presidents and administrations in the past that are breaking down right now, that are being disassembled and destroyed by the current administration, they had to go. This is not how we would have wanted them to be dismantled by any means, but I do think that it provides a really powerful opportunity for new leaders, folks that people probably can't name yet, to rise to this moment and to be able to bring with them a new vision, not just for the Democratic Party or progressive movement, but for our democratic institutions and a system that actually works for the people and by the people. And once again, I think we're overdue for that. And that's what the mass majority of this country is going to demand. It's how Trump got put into office as a very disruptive change agent. I think that we're going to see that again, but hopefully it will be someone who has a real vision for a different way of governance that has absolutely no tolerance for corruption at any level. And that's not really how the Democratic Party has operated.